So good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Thank you for being here. These are the ties that bind us. I'll be speaking about mentoring girls and women through technology. My name is Dr. Lola Adeyemi, and I'm the founder of MentoringHer. So as a young girl growing up in 3 continents, with the majority of my time spent in Africa, I had a mixed and broad view of the world. My exposure to different cultures and my formative years gave me a mixed view, but it sometimes it helped me, but it sometimes confused me. It made me sometimes put me in uncomfortable situations. So I was born in Nigeria with a silver spoon, and that afforded me certain luxuries and advantages that gave me an early edge. So I started off shy but confident, believing that education and good grades would get me to where I needed to go. However, I was not blind and immune to the patriarchal society and the limitations thereof. So our environments shapes who you are or become, and it did for many years. And the underlying impact on me and many of my female and male counterparts, it took many years of unlearning to unlearn the learnings and limiting beliefs that were culturally and societally placed upon us. Things like no matter what you learned or how learned you are, you would always belong in the kitchen, or your place was always to make kids, or your place was always to make a home, or things like if you didn't have kids, you were not a woman, or a woman is seen and not heard, or things like be humble, don't toot your own horn, or a woman shouldn't earn more than a husband, and so on and on and on and on. And so it puts you in a mindset that you didn't have to strive hard to excel at anything, but to find the right husband. And that wasn't really hard, right? But fortunately, I didn't only grow up in Nigeria. I also grew up in England and in the United States. And so as an immigrant, brown-skinned, skinny child in the early 90s, life was good and liberal, and I was immersed in my books, in my Walkman. And more importantly, I started to realize that I did have power to change the world, and that boys didn't have all the answers, and that no matter how big or small, I had the ability to lead, and that the ability to lead had nothing to do with it. And so I persisted. Fortunately, I took what was good from all the societies and cultures that I was exposed to, and I created a narrative of my own, and everyone could too. So fast forward to becoming a doctor, which was bound to happen for me. Mother Teresa is my most favorite person of all time, and I was exposed to her greatness as a teenager. My parents also taught me that our lives were meant to be lived for others, and so I did. After becoming a physician, I realized that I didn't know all that I needed to know to take care of the people that I took the Hippocratic Oath for. And the type of medicine that I wanted to do was involved less death and more living. So I went back to school, to the #1 school for public health, and to specialize in public health and preventative medicine, Johns Hopkins University. I eventually later went to Harvard University to learn about how the environment was inextricably linked to our health. When I was done with all my learning, I decided to put it into practice because I was tired of seeing people die of preventable diseases. So in 2014, my husband and I began Magna Health, an organization that focused on preventing death, disability, and disease with the aid of technology. Now, following the success of Magna Health, I was receiving an entrepreneurial award, and I was asked who were my mentors, and I said, Dr. this, Professor that, and there's nothing wrong with that. They were all men, but there was nothing wrong with that. But it led to a bigger conversation that men were so hard to find, female mentors were so hard to find, or they were unapproachable, or they were non-existent. And I thought that I had to change the narrative, or I decided to change the narrative. And I thought that what was the best way to do this? And I thought that the best way to do this was through technology, because a lot of people had access to phones. And so, but I wanted a solution that would help reduce inequalities, also promote gender equity, break down barriers of access of geography, time, racial disparities, socioeconomic factors, and so on and so forth. And so pretty much that's how MentoringHer came about. MentoringHer is a virtual social networking platform for girls and women to mentor one another. It's a place for community, communications, and connections. So these are the ties that bind us. So I'm going to show you a few videos. So take a few minutes to watch what Mentoring Her is about.
Thank you for taking the time to be a mentor on Mentoring Her. We believe in what Eleanor Roosevelt said, learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them ourselves. We don't expect you to be an expert in everything. We just ask that you have a listening ear and an open heart. As a volunteer mentor, you can gain a fresh perspective, gain leadership experience, make connections, and grow. We believe in the power of learning from those who came before us and the power of shared experiences. Your involvement with Mentoring Her will have a great impact on your mentees as well as yourself. Mentoring Her is home to everyone, a judgment-free zone where we can guide, teach, learn, and share. Your role will vary depending on who you are mentoring or the type of interaction that you will have. You can set your availability and choose your meeting times. Please commit to connecting with your mentee on a regular basis to see how they are doing. We know life is busy, so let's make time to impact the lives of others. The idea is to share your experiences and advice so that your mentee excels in places that they can and gets experience in the power of networking. Remember that you have the expertise and the skills that they're seeking for you to mentor them on, so be patient with them as they learn and grow. Also, be honest with them on the areas that they need to be improved on. Be reliable. If you commit to be somewhere or do something, be reliable that you do it. As a mentor, we have to be open for our mentee to give us feedback on how we can help them better. And then, through this, the end result is that both of you grow from your relationship. One of the most important things is to set goals. What is the end goal? Or what is the result of this relationship and commitment of time? You also want to track the progress to ensure that your mentee is making progress. To get the best out of the mentoring relationship, you should set expectations. What it is, what it isn't, and put some boundaries around it. Set some protocols of how often and when you're going to correspond. You can do all of that and more on the Mentoring Her platform. Mentoring on Mentoring Her is very easy. After signing up, you can update your preferences on what topics you want to or are able to mentor in. How you can help, from acquiring leadership skills, balancing career and family, the art of negotiation, resume CV critique, overcoming self-sabotage, workplace reentry, help with careers in consulting to the arts, and so much more. Based on your background, listed help topics, and industry experience, our algorithm will recommend you to mentees as a match to their background and listed needs. Mentees will contact you, and you can reach out to them as well as other mentors too, via the Mentoring Her platform. You can get to know one another by sending messages back and forth, or set up a time to chat right away via video chat or phone call. Scheduling meetings is easy. Link your calendars on the platform so you can schedule meetings directly. Mentees suggest 2 meeting times, and you can accept or propose another time. Your mentee should set goals for your meetings or mentoring relationship, and so help her by asking about them and supporting her to achieve those goals. In all your mentoring relationships, be your authentic self. Share your stories, your vulnerabilities, your failures. Successful mentoring relationships have been based on honoring the experiences, time, and contributions of the mentees, which leads to authentic and thoughtful conversations that can help shape their lives. Finally, keep in touch. Sometimes mentees feel bad for bothering you, but if you have the time, loop back in. It means so much. You can access Mentoring Her on your mobile phone, and so it's always with you. You can comment on the discussion board, read the articles, or watch the videos on our resources page. You can also learn something new, like how to make your own landing page or how to pitch. It is a community for us, by us. It's all about connections, communication, and community. Thank you once again for making a difference in the lives of other women. See you around Mentoring Her.
So that's a short video of what it is to be in the Mentoring Her community. I have another video. Oh, I didn't see that. So I have another video that tells you how to log into Mentoring Her, which I'm also going to show shortly. It's going to go ahead and show the next video, which basically shows you how to join the community. So I'm just going to go further with that. Give me 1 second while I share that. So pretty much you go to www.mentoringher.com. You click on Join Us Now. You then click again on Apply Here. You can sign up with LinkedIn, Facebook, or email. You put in your first name and last name, your email address, and a password. And then click on Create an Account. Pretty straightforward and seamless. Puts you into the portal. You can sign in as a mentee older than 18 years of age, a mentee younger than 18, a mentor, and expert coach. Click on what you're signing in as. You fill in your educational background, any of your majors if you so choose to, the degrees and the year you graduated in if you so choose to. This type of information will help you with curating the best matches for you. The more information you provide, the better your matching. Go on to add a few more personal details if you want to have a headline. So I'm a physician and social entrepreneur. If you want to include your location, if you're working in a current company, or if you're a student, your role, you want to give a brief description about yourself. All of these help you better find the best matches for you. For instance, if you put that you're a Hopkins student, it's going to also match with people that have been to the same schools or the same organizations. It just strengthens the matching algorithm. And then you can tell your availability. So you don't have to be always available. If you're unlimited, you put that there. If you're not even open, you'll say no at this time. And then you will then go ahead to say where you can help if you are signing in, even as a mentee. Healthcare, for instance. You put your own industry experience and your expertise. And then where you need help. If you're looking to acquire leadership skills, your careers, balancing anything you need help with, you put in there. And then last few questions. So we partner with a lot of organizations. If you are referred by an organization, then you put that in there. If not, you leave it blank. And then you put in your phone number. You can choose to get notifications and what type of notifications you want to receive. And the last thing you will do is to sign a code of conduct on the terms of how we expect people to act on this platform. You read it, you sign it, and then we will get this information on our back end. We will review it. And if you meet the criteria to be part of our organization, we will accept you. You will receive an email, and then you can join back in at a later time and begin to communicate with like-minded individuals. And that's pretty much how you become a part of Mentoring Her. And thank you for watching. Any questions? Monica. So how has mentoring changed during the COVID times? It's actually, a lot of people have reached out to us more now because mentoring, a lot of the mentoring, so there's only 3% of mentoring that was virtual before COVID. So a lot of mentoring now has shifted to virtual, which was great. That means that we were ahead of the curve, right? Yes, just 3%. So we are now ahead of the curve. We were ahead of the curve. So e-mentoring was not something that was favored. Everybody wanted to meet face-to-face, go for coffee, have meetings, things like that. But now, due to COVID, people are forced to meet virtually. So organizations have reached out to us to say, hey, can you support, how do you do a virtual mentoring program. So that has been beneficial to us, really. And people are mentoring a lot of people more now because it seems like they have more time on their hands. So it's actually been a boost for mentorship, and a lot of people are talking about it more. So COVID has interestingly, mentorship is one of the things that have been impacted positively by COVID, interestingly enough. Yeah. Well, absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Manika. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye-bye.